On the same day that Tupac passed away, another great was born. Jordan Carter started making music back in 2011 under the name of Sir Cartier, and since then we've seen a plethora of personas from the artist. This video is going to go through each of these in detail. The Sir Cartier era is the one we have the least information on, which is understandable considering the artist was virtually unknown. At the age of 14, Carti's music sounded a lot more like the traditional style of rap, focusing on his lyricism and flow. You can hear this on the song Steez. It also sounds like Carti was influenced by the likes of Odd Future. Sir Cartier's songs have since been deleted off any streaming sites, but you can find fragments of this era on YouTube with songs like Steez, Living Reckless, Carolina Blue, and a few more still being uploaded. As well as this, the whole of the Young Misfit mixtape is still available on YouTube, which was the first mixtape Carti ever posted on the internet. The name Playboi Carti was then established about 2 years later in 2013, and from there, the rest is history. The artist also used the moniker Cash Carti, and it is the first era that really kickstarted the career of the artist. During this time, Carti met the entirety of Awful Records, and in particular the producer Ethereal, who he considers a mentor to himself. He credits Ethereal as one of the key factors to helping him find his sound and style. He was even quoted saying, "Without him, I don't know where I'd be." Ethereal also took Carti in during the time he was skipping school and focusing on his music career. The two made several songs together, including titles like Beef, Lost, Smash, Talk, and many more. During the Cash Carti era, the artist would move to New York as he said he had to get out of Atlanta even though he would always rep that city. He stayed at A$AP Bari's place in the Bronx, which is where Carti would first meet A$AP Rocky at a house party. Rocky told Carti that he messed with his music, and after that Carti stated that he's got to get out of it and get his swag up. Carti would then go to Texas with Rocky and develop his music so well he would start gaining serious traction, with singles like Broke Boy blowing up. Before releasing his debut mixtape, Carti collaborated with underground Atlanta artists such as Lil Yachty and Young Bands. The artist also toured with Rocky and Lil Uzi Vert, working on his own sound and perfecting the art of performing. During this time he also signed with Interscope Records, a label that boasts plenty of successful artists like Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole and plenty more. The Cash Carti sound was fine-tuned into a cloud rap / trap style where the focus on lyrics was minimal, but instead he created songs that were chill, flowed well, and in particular sounded good sonically, something that is stuck to this day. This sound brought about the self-titled mixtape by Playboi Carti, which really solidified his place in the industry. The official debut mixtape had been long awaited by fans, and with production from Pierre Bourne as well as features from Lil Uzi Vert and A$AP Rocky, the album was in general positively received. Selling 28,000 units in the first week is certainly great, especially considering that this was a debut mixtape which introduced him to the majority of rap fans. The mixtape perfectly encapsulated the vibe of Cash Carti, as during the next few years he would gradually change his style and persona into something completely different. The Cash Carti persona slowly faded out of the way as the official Playboi era was underway. Cementing his name into the industry, the only way for Carti seemed to be up. Fans anticipated the release of his debut studio album. The artist had garnered a lot of hype and plenty of fans since the release of his self-titled mixtape. The name Playboi Carti was notorious among the majority of people in the rap scene, but not much was yet known about the artist himself. People did become more accustomed to him as he started doing more interviews as well as embarking on a tour with Gucci Mane. Carti also joined fellow artists XXXTentacion, A Boogie, Amine, P&B Rock and more in the 2017 XXL Freshman list. Now this era of Carti wasn't that different to Cash Carti. The style of music didn't change drastically, instead there was just more of a focus on perfecting and expanding on the type of music he was already familiar with. Die Lit was initially teased in late 2017 with an announcement from Pierre Bourne stating that the album had been finalised in March of 2018. The release date as well as the album cover was released a month after in May, which is also when the album was officially released. The debut studio album of Playboi Carti was here, and it was met with mostly positive reviews, selling 61,000 units and placing at number 3 on the US Billboard 200. It was a great success for the still up and coming artist. Whilst the album was not all that different from the self-titled mixtape, there was certainly a handful of songs that opposed the previous style that Carti used. Songs like R.I.P. and R.I.P. Fredo were an insight into what we could expect from the artist in the future. The songs were a lot more upbeat and hype, which certainly contrasted the music on the self-titled mixtape, which had a focus on being chill and melodic. Funnily enough, even though the album cover of Die Lit is Carti stage diving, he has come to admit that he doesn't mess with it, as if the fans don't catch him, it's a dub. He has since stopped stage diving from the fear of the fans dropping him. It would be a while until fans would hear a new album from the artist, and drastic changes would accompany the music. Contrary to popular belief, Carti had considered himself a vamp for a long while, being a huge fan of vampire movies like The Lost Boys and Interview with the Vampire, with the characters in the film being huge inspirations to his fashion choices. He also considered himself most productive in the early hours of the day, naming them Carti hours, much like a vampire. The artist first called himself a vamp in the summer of 2019, a term which has stuck since then and created a cult of fans around the persona. Since the release of Die Lit, Carti hadn't released any of his own bodies of music, instead featuring other artists' songs instead. With his inclusion on songs like Igor by Tyler the Creator, fans noticed a distinct sound from Carti, the baby voice. This voice would be used by the artist on multiple tracks like Pain 1993, At Me and the leaked Pissy Pamper, which had gone viral on the internet, even debuting on Spotify's viral top 50 before being removed. Carti had began working on Whole Lotta Red late in 2018 and had teased the album multiple times. However, the release was stunted due to many of Carti's songs being leaked on the internet, which resulted in several reworks of the album. The artist remained mysterious with limited use of social media to communicate with fans during this period. However, on the 23rd of November 2020, Carti posted blurry photos of himself with the caption revealing that he had turned the album into his label. On this day, he also stated that the album was alternative, as well as listing features like Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Travis Scott and Future. It had seemed that after over 2 years, fans would receive another album from the enigma that is Playboi Carti. DJ Academics revealed that the album would be released on Christmas Day and that he nearly had to sell his soul to obtain this information. Even though fans had doubted the album being released due to it being scrapped and delayed so many times, Whole Lotta Red was in fact released on Christmas Day. Whilst it is now considered a classic by the majority of the industry, it was met with mixed reviews to say the least. The sales, however, didn't disappoint. The album sold 100,000 units and debuted at number 1, Carti's first #1 album. Due to the news that the album was executively produced by Kanye West, the album had garnered some serious anticipation, but when it was released, it was completely different to what fans had come to expect of Carti, with fans naming the album Whole Lotta Skips. The artist utilizes the baby voice he had previewed in features on top of punk style beats on a handful of songs. The album was seriously experimental and innovative, and it's taken fans till recent times to really appreciate what Carti achieved on the project, which is understandable as it is a complete style change and the polar opposite of what fans had been expecting of Carti, especially since the songs that leaked had been a lot different. The album has plenty of correlation to Carti's new vampire aesthetic, with him committing to the aesthetic in daily life and especially at live performances. The album has since influenced many artists to make music of the same punk/rap style, with Trippie Redd and Yeet being some of the most noticeable. So, although the album was initially labelled as mid, its effect on the industry is undeniable, with the album aging incredibly well. The reason for its belated success could be due to Carti's performances of the songs, which bring an incredible amount of energy to shows, leading to Carti becoming a headliner in many of rap's biggest festivals. During this era, Carti has fully transformed him and his personality into that of a rockstar/vampire, which begs the question, what can we next expect from the mystery of Playboi Carti? Now, no one could predict what the next era of Playboi Carti's career is, as we've seen in his dive into punk rock. But since Whole Lotta Red was released, the artist has featured on a number of Kanye songs on the Donda album, as well as teased something by the name of Narcissist, which fans expected to be an album. Unfortunately, however, that turned out to be a clothing brand that was seemingly unsanctioned by Playboi Carti himself. Carti then came back to Twitter over a year later with tweets saying, "Hello Twitter, I love all my supporters, it's time." Once again, getting fans excited for no reason, as no official music announcement has been made since then. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of the different eras of Playboi Carti. Let me know what you can expect of him in the next years of his career, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe and turn on post notifications to not miss another video. I'll see you in the next one.